Oh, yeah. So a proffer, what's happening is that there's proffers happening. And what the prosecutor's doing is like niggas who ain't get charged, women who ain't get charged, people who's in and around YSL who might know stuff. Like for example, if they know that, for example, say they know a car was driven, right, to go kill a nigga, and then y'all came and parked the car at Melanie's house, right? They might bring, say they can't get nobody to cooperate, or that they need something to get a warrant or whatever, right? They might bring Melanie, right? Or subpoena Melanie, right? To essentially um, go talk with a prosecutor, and the prosecutor is going to say this to her. Listen, this is a proffer session. Anything you say could be used against you, but it could be a situation where we do a deal. And deal making is what happens in just about the majority of what the criminal sector is, or judicial court. You have to make deals because it's not really about finding the truth. A lot of times it's about what deal could both sides accept. So the proffer session for Melanie, remember Melanie didn't kill nobody, nothing. They just parked the car at her house. They're going to say, maybe they're waiting on a warrant. They're going to like, yo, in exchange for you telling us, or you certifying that this car was there, or you giving us the car, or you allowing, all right, that's probably better. That's probably a better situation. If you allow, we know you ain't got nothing to do with the murder, okay? But we need to search this thing that's on your property. Give us permission to search it, and we'll have you sign this thing that we won't charge you with anything with the murder. You know what Melanie gonna do? Well, I don't want to get charged with nothing with the murder. I didn't do no murder. Just go get the car or whatever the case is. Okay, so she that's a proffer session. Now they go get the car. Now the car got all type of DNA, this and third, that helped them catch the killer. That's what a proffer sometimes is. It could be a lot more. Anyway, it's clear that the prosecutor's on full court press. They're trying their best to make sure this case is going to stick. And with them doing so, they're doing proffer sessions with people charged and not charged. Here's a problematic thing for Thug. The niggas who he's charged with are also saying in proffer sessions, because here's the thing with a proffer, okay? If you're charged, sometimes the paperwork will come out. If you're not charged, the paperwork might not come out at all, right? That might not be something that has to be presented in discovery, so who knows, right? These are kind of like backroom dealings sometimes. There's YSL members who told, this is what they're saying, there's YSL members who told the prosecutor, we would let you know certain shit, but we are scared for our lives and our family lives. Do you understand what I'm saying? So essentially, niggas is saying, we down to tell, but telling has consequences. What does that mean for Thug? Thug should, well, I know he's doing it now, right? Or his lawyer's doing it. They're probably combing through everybody on that indictment. All them lawyers are connected somehow. And they're probably trying to make sure, hey, yo, there's nobody telling, right? Of the people who should know some shit. But it looks like people are going to tell. If you ask me, the way that they're going at Thug, they're trying to make sure Thug gets at least 5 to 7 years. Gunna got denied bail before. We're going to see when his appeal comes how that goes. you're hearing a lot of lyrics being used in court, and this is what's concerning. I don't think they're playing the big cards yet. They played a piece of it for Thug when they basically said we got snitches, we got other information, we got group texts, we got this, that, and third to say that Thug is involved in conversations around crime, is making threats and making orders. We're going to have to see what happens for Gunna's, like his appeal. I have a bet with somebody. I won't tell y'all who. I don't think Thug's getting out of jail before a trial. I think they've painted Thug to be an individual who has never done a crime, in the sense of he ain't never shoot nobody. He ain't never killed nobody. But he's gotten people killed. Which that alone will make sure he don't get out, because they're saying Your Honor, it's not about monitoring what he's going to do. It's if he makes the call to one of the people who follow his lead to do a crime, that's what's going to happen. So I think Thug's going to stay in for a long time. I don't think any deals are on the table yet. I think going towards trial, we're going to see deals on the table. I think Thug's going to cop out to a deal. The deal he's going to cop out to, I believe, is going to be like 5 years. By the time he cops out to it, he'll already be done with 1 or 2 years. And Thug should be out of rotation until now it's 2022. He'll be back 2025, I think. Cops to 5 years. Pretty much only has to serve 4. He'll be locked up for 1 already. So 3 years from now, we're in 2022. He gets out 2025. However, I have a sneaky suspicion that the prosecutor wants a lot more than 5. Because even though, number one, they have to get a conviction out of him, if Thug gets 5, other than the guys who actually did murders, like there's a guy who shot a cop. He's done. Bro, he could die 15 times, he'll still wake up in jail. They never let that nigga out. You get me? There's another nigga who did a murder. But if Thug gets 5, what are you going to give the rest of them? The difference, the difference between him and 6ix9ine, 6ix9ine just told. But this is why 6ix9ine was kind of fearful that, number one, I don't think he was ever going to do 49, so let me just keep putting that out there. I think he was definitely going to do like 10, right? I think 10, he could have probably like negotiated to get like 8. His rap sheet wasn't long before. I'm hearing Thug doesn't have a long rap sheet before this. But I still think they have to give him some sort of what they would call significant time. Because if you take all this manpower to do this damn RICO case and the leader only gets 5 years, you look crazy. And I'm pretty sure there will be conversations had about that DA office if they went this hard just to convict the gang leader who they claim been responsible for up to 100 bodies. If they only get like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. But unless they come out with some more hardened evidence, I think eventually they're going to talk plea. They're never going to let him out, like scotch-free, but they'll talk plea deals with him the later it gets. Unless, and this is what I've been wondering, I think that they have Thug connected close, or as close as he would be, to a murder. I believe, and by the way, it's not the murder that you're thinking about, because they said he rented a car for somebody who used that car in a drive-by. I think they're going to try to if I think the prosecutor has an ace in the hole, which is connecting Thug, and when I mean connecting Thug to a murder, yo, we got your phone records here. You called the nigga, or the nigga called you. It's kind of like what happened with the Lil Wayne tour bus shit. It's like, well, a nigga did a drill and called you, or we got your phone calls tapped where you were giving out instructions and then somebody died. You get me? I think there got to be an ace in the hole like that where it shows just how that power of being a gang leader manifested into crime. Because so far the lyrics they're using shit like that, like they have Young Thug saying in text message one time to somebody, if that nigga don't return the car, somebody gotta die. Okay, that sounds cool, you're talking tough, but did anybody die? So if nobody died, it's like you saying, man, nigga, I should kill you right now. But you're gonna kill him. You're not gonna get charged for that. Say Minority Report, right? So I think they have some more incriminating shit. And by the way, it's interesting. I don't know if y'all watched the whole Yachty interview on Off the Record. Yachty actually had a really interesting perspective. I thought he was just gonna defend it like, nah, it's bullshit. You know what he said? He said the cops are smart. He said if they're coming after you, there's something there. They're not coming after you for lyrics. And I kind of agree with him. They ain't just coming at you for lyrics. They're coming at you for some other shit. I know some people say Thug is cooked, but hey, if Thug is cooked, we ain't see the seasoning yet. Yeah, you could link him to being in the gang, but honestly, this is what I think is gonna end up in a plea. Thug not taking on 20 years. He's gonna take it to trial. You're not taking on 20 years. Not taking 15. If you give him like 5 and 7, he'll take it. So now let's see how this plays out in trial. Without a smoking gun, what you about to convince a jury to say? That this guy who he could be like, yo, my only culpability is that I'm rich and niggas listen to rich niggas. I didn't tell nobody to do no fucking murders and shit like that. So yeah, you could get him for being in the gang, but if you can't demonstrate beyond a reasonable doubt that he was using his power as a gang leader to instruct crime, I don't know. Somebody said I'm sounding optimistic. Well, I'm also sounding realistic too. What Young Thug, like, by the way, this DA's office apparently charged another RICO case a year before they did the YFN one, and then they dropped it. They dropped the whole thing. There's a nigga right now who's locked up and on Young Thug's indictment. Remember they said Young Thug and them are Bloods that go by the joint YSL. There's a nigga who they charged 18 months ago, or maybe 2 years ago. They charged that nigga for being a Crip. So what is it? You put him in a Crip indictment. Now you put him in a Blood indictment. Is he switching gangs or you don't know what you're talking about? And why did you drop? They had a whole indictment against other niggas they dropped. You could Google it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not saying that Thug about to beat the case, but it tells me that this DA's office is biting off a lot more than they could chew, which usually would tell me that they'll be offering deals, right? And if I'm Thug, you gotta take the deal. You can't possibly, you can't hope to go to trial with this. Is Thug beating the case? I don't think Thug will go to trial to face the case. They're doing a bunch of they're doing a bunch of motioning right now. They're gonna motion to throw it out. They're gonna start doing motions for everything. You know, put it like this. Before trial starts, you're trying to motion to make the case look as weak as possible that you can beat it. You know who's done a good job at that? Youngboy's attorney. They have made the case against Youngboy so weak, the feds honestly are probably gonna just offer a good plea. Think about Youngboy's case. they've thrown out all the evidence that they really had that this nigga had possession of the gun. So if I'm young boy, I take it to trial. But the feds ain't going to trial to lose. So you know what the feds gonna do? We'll count your fucking house arrest. We'll use that as part of time served. But how about you just do like 2 years? And pretty much you go to federal prison for 6 months and you come out and you're good. But that case look weak. Somebody said, what about the snitches and drugs? The switches and drugs when he got arrested? His lawyer already start answering to that. They said, you hear what the lawyer said? The lawyer said Thug didn't even know there were guns in the house. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do how Kodak beat his case when Kodak, they found a gun. There was a safe that the gun was in for Kodak, and they couldn't prove that Kodak. This happened for T.I. too. They couldn't prove that it was only Kodak's fingerprint access in the safe. So because they couldn't prove that Kodak was the only one with access to it, Kodak's lawyer suggested and said, well, there are mad other people in the fucking house all the time. How could you give this to Kodak? So all Thug gonna do, his lawyer gonna, bro, like this is a structured thing. That's what I'm saying. Thug's lawyer, and Thug gotta pay for everybody's shit, clearly. Niggas is going, if Thug is gonna get free, all that shit that they found in the house, somebody gonna cop to that. Oh, no, it wasn't Thug, it was mine. I left it there. It was my stolen gun. It wasn't his. Yeah, that's how it goes. They're heavy on this case, though. You could definitely tell because they do not want any of these guys to be free. I was very shocked at how hard they went against Gunna. And I think for them, they're realizing they can't have any of these guys free. They can't have any of these guys making it look and seem like this is going to be a cakewalk. I thought that Gunna was going to get out on bail. When he didn't, I was shocked. Somebody said they're trying to make an example out of him, of course. Somebody said, can't they just say YSL is structured like a fraternity? Bro, YSL is a label. Yo, being a legit organization doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, a fraternity, a legit organization. But if that fraternity was doing crime under the banner of being that fraternity, it don't matter what music y'all ever recorded. And to keep it real, the reason why they keep using lyrics in court is because of it's a counter to the defense that Thug's lawyer is gonna do. Well, YSL just a label. Well, this is what the prosecutor said. Well, Your Honor, the label is just a front for the crime. The label is just a front. And we could show you that the label is just a front because look here. They're actually rapping about shit like one of the things that's keeping Thug in jail, they literally took lyrics that Young Thug rapped about saying, I shot somebody's mom house up, and they matched it with wife and Lucci's mama's house getting shot up. They're like, well, look here. Simple. By the way, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Yeah, I know me. I love my guys from the islands. You know, I'm an immigrant success story, and I'm very happy about it. But let me tell you this right now. Gunna and Young Thug, get that black nigga from the islands off of your fucking case. That nigga did nothing at your goddamn. And by the way, sir, if you see this, I don't got nothing against you. I'm only speaking objectively, okay? When it was maybe it sounded good to Thug when you was like saying all that shit. But the only sniper, this is a sniper right here. This guy right here, the sniper. Brian Steele, this guy's a sniper. If he don't beat it, if they get him kicked off the case, Thug might as well just be like, yo, I'll see you in like 5-10 years.
Release and monitoring and home confinement.
I'm gonna show you the guy. They did a final rebuttal. Let me show you. They did a final rebuttal. This is the final rebuttal. This black guy right here. You can tell, you're gonna be able to tell. As soon as he get up there, the judge start ethering him, bro. Like, nah. Never let this nigga speak for you again, bro.
In the prior argument, Mr. Gary conceded that there is no evidence. I want to start where the prosecution left off and talk to the court briefly about why it's so dangerous to have the state make a presentation in a manner that it did. This statement, and this is kind of emblematic of the entirety of the state's argument. If you give Mr. Williams a bond, that I'm afraid there are going to be more witnesses who are in danger, or more witnesses who are threatened, or something to that nature, right? And the thing that's so disingenuous about that statement is that just about 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
This is not the prosecutor. This is someone on the defense team for Young Thug. And the other guy I showed you, the prosecutor is this guy. This is the prosecutor. Okay? This is the prosecutor. This is the sniper. I'm gonna show you the sniper. Where is he at? This is the nigga they're trying to get kicked off the case. I'm gonna show you. This thing is a gut. This guy's. Oh yeah, we just seen him right now. This is him. He got gray hair, but he has a full head of hair.
Sometimes.
Him. This is the guy they want kicked off the case. I'm telling you, this is a star. This is the Saul Goodman. This is the nigga, you can tell, he gonna break all the laws to get Thug out of jail. This the guy. What I was trying to tell you is the guy, he let somebody who is either in his firm or another one of the attorneys on Thug's team do the final rebuttal, and I listened to it, and I said, Thug, you got to have Brian Steele, bro. He got to be the one who do the whole thing.
In terms of weighting the situation, weighing what's been proper thus far.
And I understand that.
The whole time the judge giving this nigga, the judge is correcting this nigga way too much. That's why you knew Thug wasn't coming home. Listen.
So disingenuous about that statement is that just about 10 minutes or 15 minutes into, in the prior argument, Mr. Gary conceded that there is no evidence, there is zero evidence
here we go.
that there are any threats being made.
So he's saying, they got no evidence that Thug making threats to nobody. Look how the judge is ethering him.
That can be tied in any form or fashion to Mr. Williams.
Well, I think that's not the statement.
I think that's not the statement, sir. Bruh, my attorney can't go up there just making shit up. If the judge correcting you, it's a dub. There's no statement that said Thug was making, bruh, that's not the statement. Like the judge is clapping him up. Listen to the judge.
I think he said as well that there are proffers from other gang members that he's the leader of the gang, he's dangerous, you cross him, and he'll kill them or kill their family. So there is something the court has heard thus far. If
we're breaking it down.
This is why this is why you can't have that nigga repping you. You're trying to attack the statements. First of all, he switched up the words. There's no proof that Young Thug is anyone dangerous or would threaten nobody. And the judge said, that's not true. The prosecutor did say there are gang members in proffers who are literally saying that Young Thug is dangerous and he will kill people if they cross him. What he should have done is attack that statement. Instead, he wasn't prepared for the judge to talk back to him. Look how he's switching up the argument.
Judge, what Mr. Gary was talking about in that regard is what I presume he believes will be evidence in the case. Now, in talking about the bond, in talking about whether or not there is any evidence before the court, right? And there was this discussion earlier.
Well, that's a problem. I mean, I take you all in your word for it, Mr. Adams. I mean, it's a proffer. I mean, it goes to the state's contention of whether or not he's a danger to the community. One of the things I have to look at in one factor.
this is the final rebuttal before the judge gave his hearing. Don't put this nigga back up there on the stand. The star nigga on trial is Brian Steele, nigga.
So,
You see, bro, I want this nigga up there. Like, bro, listen, when it comes to your freedom, black, white, orange, pink, man, woman, I don't give a fuck. You need the best. The judge over here correcting this nigga a little too much. You know you're not getting out of jail if the judge correcting your lawyer.
take it as its value. Certainly is dependent upon.
There's no evidence before the court. You heard the judge saying, yo, the nigga says he has a proffer, and I'm taking the proffer. I'm taking that into consideration. Stop talking about no evidence. Stop it.
What I, in terms of weighting the situation, weighing what's been proffered thus far.
And I understand that. What I would ask the court to pay close attention to and to keep in mind is that allegations put forth by the state in regards to what they say is evidence that is going to be forthcoming are exactly that, allegations that have not.
Let me play the sniper. This is who got to be talking for Thug right here. This nigga right here is the guy, bro. Let me just tell you, this is the guy. Let me go back. We'll find them.
What area? They're all here. They all would testify that they would swear to the Ayala factors. Jeffrey Williams' children, Your Honor, he has 6 children. They're all here. They live with him. Most of them live with him. Kyvion, K-Y-V-I-O-N Jackson is a 14-year-old son. Jacob, J-A-C-O-B Ragland, R-A-G-L-A-N-D, 12-year-old son. Haiti, H-A-I-T-I Rice, 11-year-old girl. Amari, A-M-A-R-I Steele, S-T-E-E-L-E, or the fact that he will come back to court. Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Adams, Ms. Hornsby, it's pretty impressive to show who we're dealing with, Your Honor.
But you've established, I think, his ties and his depth. So I'll accept Mr. Ogensay's.
That nigga is a sniper, bro.
And what he would testify to.
And by the way, everybody over here is on Thug's legal team. He probably hired a couple lawyers. I don't know if this black guy folds up under him as the same firm or it's different lawyers. But trust me, he's the lead attorney. He's the one. Thug's the boss. He got the most money. This is a star. They said there's 3 good lawyers or 3 star lawyers in Atlanta. This is the guy. The prosecutor's on this side. This is the lead prosecutor for this case. There's this woman. She also speaks later. Then there's this guy who's probably just an assistant. The district attorney won't probably be in court at all. So the woman, the black lady who Fanny, whatever her name was, she won't probably be in court. She just drafted and she backed the indictment. Okay? However, these people got to go to war for her case because she feels like Thug and them should be in jail. These people over here, their job is to get Thug out of jail immediately.
Yes, of course. O-G-U-N-L-E-S-I.
And the case law that you
County, and I could give a copy of Google Music, all of YouTube Music. He's on a video that you already have. It's in Division or Exhibit S. And he stands behind Mr. Williams, bond, all 4 factors of Ayala, and he puts his reputation next to Mr. Williams as well. Your Honor, I along with the Honorable Avis Hornsby, as well as the Honorable Keith Adams, we will be ready for our trial. We understand the enormity. I've only had 2 cases with this type of discovery that I'm being told 5 terabytes would fill up the entire hallway on the 8th floor of the Fulton County Courthouse or more.
God damn.
We are going to,
5 terabytes of discovery? Shit. You know what that means? They're saying, Thug, you stay in jail, nigga. If they got 5 terabytes?
you can't get through that discovery. So what we did in other cases, we have a search engine company that we already spoke with. I asked Mr. Geary, he's been telling me he will get it to me. There's no problem. He's an honorable person always. And we are going to go through the discovery. It's like searching Lexus. We're not going to be able to read everything. No.
Nah, hell nah. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nah, Brian Steele, fuck all that shit. Y'all not about to do Control F on my fucking discovery when my life is in the balance. No, you gonna read everything, nigga. Nigga, you know how much Thug about to pay these niggas? He about to pay at least between $2 to $5 million for representation. No, y'all about to read this shit. No way. Y'all not Control F in my shit. Fuck that. No way. Y'all niggas finna read this shit. Fuck a search engine company. Read it. You should be read it while you're taking a shit on the toilet. Read it while you're fucking your bitch. Read it like a bedtime story. Read all the shit in my case that you could get me out of jail. Fuck that. You ain't about to use no Control F and be like, yo, and just type in slime or some shit. No, nigga. Read it all. You need to read it all. I'm sorry. You need to do it. You need to listen. Y'all never watch How to Get Away with Murder? Nigga, Annalise never used no search engine company. She just used some interns at her fucking class. No, get some law students, put them on it. You read this, you read that, and all y'all come back here after 2 days and figure out how we gonna get Jeffrey Williams, aka Slime, King Slime, out of motherfucking jail. Y'all niggas ain't about to do a goddamn thing talking about y'all about to get a search engine company to go through my case. A search engine company gonna keep me in jail. Fuck that. Sorry.
No one's going to be able to read all that.
No, you gonna read it.
We do our search terms, and we are with the court on the 9th day of
You ain't about to do a search terms of mine. No, you're not.
January 2023. If that gets bumped, because I understand that there's a lot of people here, the court may say I don't want to sever, or some people may ask for continuance that's granted. That's why I filed the demand for speed trial, understanding that I'll file it again once it's good with Judge Brasher's order. But I wanted to be upfront with everybody and give everyone notice that that is.
Let me grab some water in the refrigerator.
Your Honor, Mr. Williams has family in your courtroom. His father is here, Jeffrey Williams Sr. His mother is here, Bertha, B-E-R-T-H-A, Greer, G-R-I-E-R. He has brothers. They're not all here, Your Honor, but that's not for, that's for reasons of violence. But it's Oscar Greer is his brother. Quinton, Oscar is typical spelling, Greer, same spelling. Quinton, Q-U-I-N-T-E-N, Greer. It's his brother, Letitia, L-A-T-I-S-H, Greer. His other sister, Angela Greer.
So let me explain what that niggas are trying to do, right? So first of all, they're trying to do a little tactic. You know, you have a right to a speedy trial in the United States. You could file that they could, you know, immediately get to a trial. Usually that's usually a bluff, because from what I've seen, it benefits a defense the longer the case is drawn out. Okay? The longer it's drawn out, it benefits you. Usually if it's a speedy trial, because by the time they indict you, like they already got a lot on you. So you want time to prepare, throw shit out, you want to do a lot of motions. But what they're doing with that is they want this case to be what they say severed. Now, they're not going to do that, but essentially he wants Young Thug to not have 27 co-defendants, right? So for the court to deal with and schedule, apparently there's about 10 people who don't have lawyers yet, which, wink, wink, I think Thug is going to deal with their lawyers and they're just taking some time. However, they can't do certain shit because they're all on one case. Like they're all co-defendants, really. So they can't proceed to a certain part of the case without certain people having representation. There's even a part of this whole situation where they asked the judge to say, hey, could you approve the filing of public defenders for a few of these guys, because right now they have no representation. The prosecutor asked for that. And without representation, they can't do certain things. So they're slowing this down. Obviously, they would want Thug to be on a case by himself, because if he's on a case by himself, what's the point, right? Like, you know what I mean? They're saying y'all all did the crime together. If they give you, they sever it and they give you a case by itself, his case would be weak. Judge, I'm charged with what? wait, I told who to do what? It's easier to say, yo, you told him to do that, and he's charged with doing it. We're saying you told him to do it. You get me? So they're not going to sever it.
His brother, Gregory King, his other sister, Wyshena, W-Y-S-H-E-E-N-A Greer, his other sister, Alexis, A-L-E-X-I-S Greer, his other sister, Catherine, C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-E Greer, his other sister, Dorothea, she goes by Dora Greer, and Mr. Greer is the second, Mr. Williams is the second to youngest. All these people are in the Atlanta area. They're all here. They all would testify that they would swear to the Ayala factors. Jeffrey Williams' children, Your Honor, he has 6 children.
Argue
For Song of the Year
in the case law.
in Judge Adams of DeKalb County, down the DeKalb County Superior Court judge. And when Mr. Williams was on bond for that case, Judge Adams wanted Mr. Williams to be drug tested, and even
This is where these are the reasons why Thug is locked up, right? You're gonna hear this lawyer. This lawyer gonna be like, "Yo, Young Thug got drug tests all the time. This nigga don't even take drugs. This nigga's a great liar, man." Then the prosecutor came back later, and the prosecutor said, "We know he's on drugs because we listened to jail calls, and on the jail call." Is that my dog over here? Like, yo, we listen to jail calls, and on the jail call, he's been complaining to his people about like withdrawals.
during the pandemic, Counsel Michael would meet with Mr. Williams, give him drug counseling and drug testing personally. And these are all filed in the court in DeKalb County, and I could give a copy to the court if you want it, from November 26, 2018 until the Honorable Judge Adams said this is ridiculous. He's proven that he's not on drugs. Goes up to January 28, 2022. Mr. Williams was not using any type of codeine or lean is what they call it, or other drugs, Your Honor.
Yeah, I need my lawyer to lie for me like that, man.
That's 3.5 years. It's approximately 3.5 years, Your Honor, and that's why we will be fighting the open warrants here from the search warrant on the May 9th arrest of Mr. Williams, the search warrant of the guns and the drugs. Mr. Williams is not using those drugs, and not with the guns, and other people actually live at that house more often than Mr. Williams.
What I tell y'all, Young Thug ain't know there was no guns at the crib. So other people that lived at that place.
He will testify that he would continue. He's actually pursuant to our request, continuing. We need an order from the court, but continuing counseling with Mr. Williams, one time a week for himself, one time a week with his partner. And when he's been at Mr. Williams' home, there are no drugs in sight, and Mr. Williams tests negative. That would be Counselor Michael.
All right, Charlie, accept
Damn. Drug-free Thug.
the proffer.
Is that true what I said, Counselor?
It's true.
Your Honor, there are some videos that we have, and I can proffer one from Colson Baker, Colsombaker. He's a performer known as MGK. It's in Exhibit S. I've already submitted it to the Honorable Court. It's in a Dropbox link. You could look at it yourself if you want. And he talks about Mr. Williams assisting the community. There's also other videos that we've already given to this Honorable Court.
Salute to MGK.
Talk about Mr. Williams appearing when there's tragedies like hurricanes or tornadoes. He is constantly going to other states, as well as when there's tragedies here in Georgia, and performing for free. All the monies go to Target to restore the neighborhoods. Mr. Williams has employed thousands of people had studios put up in the Cleveland Avenue area, so children don't have to think that it's all about selling drugs and running the streets and being in gangs, that they can go and have places to be with sports, dance, reading, tutors.
Damn.
Conditions have to be met, if they can be made, for all the other factors, which is intimidating a witness, danger to the community, property and community, obstruction of justice, risk to commit a crime. And that's why I brought Mr. Middlestat, and I want to thank him. I want to thank everyone, but I want to thank Mr. Middlestat especially. Your Honor, what we have developed, I hope, is anticipating every potential that could go wrong, and we have Mr. Williams now with sworn law enforcement officers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He is confined to his house, and under Brown, B-R-O-W-N, versus state case, Your Honor, I gave this honorable court, which is the 2012 case. Our court realized that our legislature is using things like electronic monitoring, house arrest, rather than the in-custody treatment that Mr. Williams is currently undergoing. Your Honor, based upon this record, I will ask this honorable court to permit me to answer any questions that you have. In addition to that, we filed on at exactly midnight. Mr. Williams now with sworn law enforcement officers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He is confined to his house, and under Brown, B-R-O-W-N, versus state case, Your Honor, I gave this honorable court, which is the 2012 case. Our court realized that our legislature is using things like electronic monitoring, house arrest.
They trying to get that nigga house arrest. I ain't gonna lie. That nigga tried, man. That nigga tried. This prosecutor wasn't playing, though.
Judge, I understand all of the witnesses that just testified and the proffers that were made. But bad people sometimes do good things. Even the Gambinos, one of the big crime families, the crime boss, they had charities. They ran legitimate businesses. They did that as well because they want what Mr. Williams wants. He wants the appearance in the community. That's what he put up. He put up the appearance in the community, and he put up people that are financially dependent upon him. And quite frankly, I objected for relevancy, and that's not relevant to the facts of bond. The fact that he can pay $1 million a year is not relevant. Your Honor, Mr. Steele stated to the court that guilt is not a factor and innocence not a factor. I wholeheartedly agree. But the nature of the offenses charged, guilt or innocence, is at a time later. And that's the reason is why if someone's charged with a misdemeanor, they automatically get a bond. Felony, they've got to come before a judge and ask for a bond and be judged on the Ayala factors 1761. And that's why that's that way. And for the court's knowledge also is, and it was talked about, and I don't know the court's intent, so I'm going to address it one way and the court can inform me otherwise, is we have two things here. We have the indictment charged that I understand they're seeking a bond on, and then we have a separate case. That separate case is 22 CP. That's on a jail call.
Oh yeah, this is it right here. This is right here. I'm telling you, this nigga was ethering that nigga's ass, bro. That's what. Yo, the prosecutor was just on the shit. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. This bald nigga do not fuck with Thug, bro.
On his arrest, which was 9 May of this year.
Here we go.
When was the FTA from?
When was it?
So one of the reasons they categorize Young Thug as a flight risk, there is a FTA open, which is a failure to appear. So he had another case. It was like a traffic ticket, and he didn't show up to court. So they didn't give him a bond, but they sent him a failure to appear notice, which they're now using in this case to say, well, if he ain't show up to court for that, why you think he finna show up to court for this? You know what I mean? And both parties are interpreting it differently. Like Thug's lawyer is saying, well, this is more serious. Of course he's going to show up. This lawyer is saying, or the prosecutor is saying, yo, because it's more serious, if he ran off on a parking ticket or like a fucking traffic stop ticket, why wouldn't he run off on this?
From?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I can't answer that question. I apologize.
Here we go.
Okay.
Now,
Here's.
Mr. Steele put up that there's no evidence he's done drugs. You know, he's had these drug testing. Everyone knows we listen to jail calls. We've got a call from Mr. Williams at Cobb County that he needs help for his drugs and he needs to detox. He needs drug help. That's on a jail call.
Ether. Oh, he don't do drugs? Nigga, we got a call from him like Wednesday. He said we listened to this nigga. If they're listening to Thug's call that keenly, bro, they just quoted the nigga call from last week, bro. Bro, we listen to calls from jail. He talking, yo, they're listening to his calls even when you know Thug not about to be in jail talking nothing criminal. So they're listening to his calls to use anything against him. They got a hard on for Thug, bro. Yo, we just heard that nigga on the call bitching about like the drugs. What y'all talking about? That's what they basically said.
So that's directly from Mr. Williams. So that's not accurate. I know Mr. Steele says he's got his visa. Mr. Williams now...
Or passport?
I'm pardon, Judge?
You got passport? You said visa.
Well,
Is it
passport, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Okay, I
Yes,
just want to make sure.
yes, sir, Judge. I'm just used to one of those...
When a judge correct the prosecutor, he's smiling with that nigga. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. When he correct Thug's lawyer, he's scolding him. Scolding. Nah. Hold on. He's scolding the other nigga. He laughing with him. Prosecutors and the judge, they be cool. They be friends. You know how many times they see each other? Bro, he probably see the prosecutor more than his wife, my nigga. The prosecutor got to bring him all type of cases, bro. They friends.
Read things, and I know the court knows, and that's what I've always traveled on. Judge, he's got access to a private jet. Now, I don't know if he owns it or if he leases it. I know he continuously flies on a private jet out of PDK into DeKalb County. Again, I'm not speaking for or against the officers that are on this list. I don't know any of them. That list.
So they submitted a list saying that if Young Thug was to get bond, there's a bunch of officers who would be off duty watching him, right? And I ain't gonna lie, this prosecutor ethered that shit too. It was like, word, y'all got a list of cops that would be watching Thug if y'all let him out today? Listen to what he says.
List has not been provided to us.
They said the list hasn't been provided.
Contacted by 2 police agencies who want to know, because if their officers are on that, they will not permit that to happen.
Ethered. He said, listen, I don't know what type of list or which cops Thug claim he about to have watch him if he get out of jail, but 2 police precincts already hit us up to say if they got any police officers that on their spare time is about to watch Young Thug, we're not letting that happen. Bro, they already tell you, we don't fuck with that nigga, bro. Fuck that. Like, the precincts is calling to say, let us know if any of our cops about to be watching this nigga. We ain't letting that happen.
So there might be some pushback on that list. I take the investigator's word that he's cleared all that. I don't know. I don't know who's on the list, Judge. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow gang members from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will kill them and their family.
Yeah, Thug ain't coming.
And they were very clear about that.
Devious.
Your Honor, when I said the other case, I want to also go back to that 22 CP case. A bond hearing was held on that. I have a copy of the results from the court. I believe Magistrate Judge Robert Wolf on the 11th day of May, 2022, denied bond on the
Yo, we just lucky they ain't lock up King Slime, Drizzy Dan, bruh. And when Drake said, I guarantee Drake won't be saying no shit like that no more. And you know it's King Slime, Drizzy Dan. Nah, hell nah. I guarantee Drake will never say that lyric again.
the charges based on the arrest, and as it stands now, it is no bond. Now, what I understand from the order, and I'm going to provide this copy to the court in a second, it was denied for a flight risk and risk to commit additional felonies. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may, sir.
Can I see that one more time? Do you mind?
Yes, sir. Again, from Mr. Williams. Your Honor, on 126,
Is that in a? You said that's in a digital.
it's in a
format?
digital format, yes, Judge.
Is it a conversation? Tell me the context.
Yes,
This is what they told about the text. Apparently they reading Young Thug's text message and everything, man.
Judge.
Okay. It's a conversation.
It is, I believe it's in the life, has a reputation, if you will, both inside and outside the court system. Your Honor, I'm going to go through some of the things in the indictment just to let the court know. Mr. Williams, in Act 4, which is from 9/9/13, had a stolen firearm on him. Now, I will say I believe his counsel was, in fact, Mr. Steele, and that act was to a pretrial. So it is not a conviction, but it is still a predicate act under Georgia law. He did possess a stolen weapon. I will say there's a Act 9 on 4/20/14. It is a song. The name is EWW. And in it, basically, the defendant says, all I ever wanted was the money. Basically, if you mess with me, you go into a wheelchair. That's what that one says. Your Honor, we have other, and I'll leave some of the social media, I'll handle that generically for the most part, but we have numerous social media posts where the defendant is in what I would call gang colors, flashing gang signs with his fellow gang members, some of which are his co-defendants on this indictment. And on those, they are, on the videos, they are replete with gang statements.
Everybody concerned, we booked the Zoom for the day, and the day ends at 5, so that's probably why it probably cut off. So let me just see if we can fix that. We may have to send out another link.
All right, man. All right. Holy. All right, chat. I'm about to get out of here.